Hey, you've tuned in just in time. We're diving deep into the newest episodes of The Last of Us TV series.
That's right. Lots to talk about, especially how this next chapter for Joel and Ellie is shaping up.
Yeah, and it's not just, walking the same path again, even if you know the game inside out. This new season tackles the later parts of The Last of Us Part 2.
But only part of it, right?
Exactly. It only gets us halfway through that game's story. The showrunner actually called it their Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh, okay. That definitely signals things are about to get pretty heavy, intense, yeah.
For sure.
And, if anyone was still a bit skeptical about video game shows, even after season 1 was so good, well, the early buzz is fantastic.
Daily positive.
Yeah, critics are calling it another remarkable run of episodes, saying it holds up to the first season, to the game itself.
So the whole video game curse thing, pretty much dead and buried then.
Seems like The Last of Us definitively proved that wrong. Twice now, maybe.
Okay, so where do things pick up? We're back in Jackson, Wyoming.
Yeah, back in Jackson. And it's about 5 years after the first season's events.
And things seem calm, almost.
Deceptively so, maybe. Joel and Ellie are there, living relatively normal lives. They've built something resembling peace.
That quiet start must be important though, right? Setting up what they stand to lose.
Exactly. It gives you that baseline, that sense of what they're fighting for, some kind of healing. But like you said, in this world, peace is always fragile.
And there's a new face, Gail.
Ah, yes. Catherine O'Hara playing Gail. She's Joel's therapist.
A therapist. In the apocalypse, she wasn't in the game.
Nope. Totally new for the show. And apparently she's a bit of a whiskey-chugging therapist.
Huh. Well, I guess Joel probably needs it.
It's an interesting addition, definitely. Gives us a direct look into Joel's headspace, his trauma, in a way the game didn't quite spell out.
Yeah, seeing him actually, talk about things.
Right. Beyond just the survival stuff, what's going on inside, even when things seem quiet on the outside.
But things aren't exactly perfect between Joel and Ellie, from what we're hearing.
No, that core relationship seems frayed. There's talk of typical teenage moodiness from Ellie, but also something deeper.
Like an unspoken betrayal. That sounds ominous.
It does. Hints that something significant happened between them in those 5 years. They're both apparently seeking healing and self-actualization.
Which feels like a massive luxury in their world.
It really does. And the writers, Craig Mazin, Neil Druckmann, Hallie Gross, they're getting props for really digging into that, the character stuff.
Not just the action.
No, focusing on the dynamics, the emotional weight, and the actors are delivering. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Just stunningly human performances, apparently.
No surprise there, really. They were incredible in season 1.
Absolutely. And we've got Gabriel Luna and Rutina Wesley back as Tommy and Maria, too, rounding out that core Jackson group.
Okay, so we have this uneasy peace, these simmering tensions, and then things explode. Literally. Maybe.
Pretty much. Episode 2 sounds like it goes big. A massive attack on Jackson by the infected.
Oh, wow. Huge scale.
Described as one of the show's most palpitation-inducing moments. But Jackson's ready for it. Or as ready as they can be.
How so?
Think catapulted barrels of oil.
Seriously? Catapults?
Yeah. Snipers, flamethrowers. They're fighting off the fast ones, the runners, and also those big, tough bloaters.
Sounds intense. Proper battle sequence.
Totally. The scale is apparently massive. Comparisons are being made to, peak Game of Thrones episodes.
Okay, that sets a high bar.
It definitely suggests a major turning point early in the season, shattering that fragile peace we talked about.
But it's not just about the spectacle, right? The focus is still meant to be human.
That's what's emphasized, yeah. Even with all the chaos, the infected, even little game nods like Ellie using a bottle for self.
Oh, cool little detail.
Right. But the core is still meant to be achingly, painfully human. How the characters react, the choices they make under that extreme pressure.
Right. The infected are the backdrop, but the real story is the people.
Precisely. Which brings us to another key arrival, Abby.
Played by Caitlin Dever. And her portrayal might be a bit different from the game.
That's the buzz. It'll be interesting to see how they handle her introduction and story. Her arrival really kicks off those major themes from Part 2.
Revenge versus justice. That whole cycle of violence.
Exactly. The show seems ready to dive right into that moral gray area. No easy answers.
And we meet Dina, too. Ellie's love interest.
Yep, Isabella Merced as Dina. And she apparently has this line about there being no right answer.
Which sounds like it sums up the whole situation pretty well.
Perfectly. It highlights the complexity, the lack of clear heroes or villains that decides this part of the story.
It sounds incredibly dark, though, all that revenge and moral ambiguity.
It is dark, for sure. But the word is they're balancing it well. There are still moments of warmth, connection, humanity.
Okay, good, because it could get overwhelming otherwise.
Absolutely. You need those glimmers.
Yeah.
Apparently tissues might be needed for this season and likely for season 3 down the line.
Right. So hope mixed in with the bleakness.
That balance is key. It's what makes you care, right? Those small moments of love or kindness amidst the horror.
We also heard about a flashback episode, looking back at the time jump.
Yeah, one episode seems dedicated to that 5-year gap, recreating some of the game's really powerful moments from that period.
Showing Ellie maybe before everything hits the fan again.
Kind of showing a bit of her innocence, maybe?
Yeah.
Moments of wonder, which, knowing what's coming.
Makes the later stuff hit even harder.
Exactly. That provides that contrast, shows what's been lost, the impact of the trauma, deepens our understanding of her journey.
And what about the world itself? The look and feel.
Oh, huge praise for that. The whole universe feels believable, meticulously crafted.
Cinematography getting good mentions.
Yeah, described as truly cinematic. And Gustavo Santaolall's music is back, that soul-tingling score.
His music is so iconic for The Last of Us.
It really is. Plus the production design, finding beauty and horror and how nature's taken over. It creates this world that's full of, well, everything.
Like cruelty and community, hope and hopelessness, life and death.
All existing side by side. That constant tension is part of what makes the world so immersive.
So bottom line, it sounds like this next season is really delivering.
Seems like it. A high-quality adaptation continuing what the first season started, not shying away from the difficult stuff in part 2.
Impressing game fans and show watchers alike.
Looks that way. It's a big swing, adapting this part of the story, especially splitting it up. It shows they're committed to doing it right.
Yeah, taking their time with it.
Exactly. Giving the characters and the themes the space they need.
This whole middle chapter idea, the Empire Strikes Back vibe, it definitely makes you think about the cost of revenge, doesn't it?
It really does. And what justice even means in a world like that. How people find any meaning when everything seems so senseless.
What does it actually mean to survive? Not just physically, but like keeping your soul intact.
That's the core question, isn't it? It explores the absolute best and worst of humanity. Can that cycle of violence ever end? It's heavy stuff.
But compelling. Sounds like it leaves you with a lot to chew on.
For sure. Definitely stays with you.